Hello. I hope it's all working. I'm showing you this meme here. It's a meme. A comic. This is more like a comic. But we're having the new moon in Virgo. I'm cold, so I'm covered up with a blanket. Tomorrow. It will be early in the morning. And it's been kind of an interesting journey watching the Virgo take hold after Leo season. In fact, I've seen people go, what's going on? You know, like it's almost like Mercury retrograde a little bit. So I wanted to explain a little bit and come talk to you a little bit about the grand Earth trine happening during this new moon, which deals with actual reality, physical reality. So a lot of times when you speak in archetypes, you speak about the elements, you know, air, which is very, you can't grasp it. Water is very fluid. But earth, you're talking physical manifestations. And so there is a grand earth trine. And so this comic really made me laugh because it's pretty much the way things are going right now. What if the rain ruins our hill? You know, I want to get out my pointer because my pointer's fun. Sorry. Here we go. What if the rain ruins our hill? Then we build again. And what if it rains after we rebuild it? Then we build it again. So the Virgo here is what if? To me, you know, what if? Virgo worries a little bit. It overanalyzes. It kind of can see the negative in things. It's not always the case, but because it's so meticulous, you can see little things that need adjusting right now, and which is why it would seem like a Mercury retrograde. Retrogrades, when Mercury is involved, are about redoing and rethinking, and Virgo is very much like that, and Virgo happens to be ruled by Mercury. I've never thought about it before, but maybe it's more ruled by the Mercury retrograde than the Mercury direct, you know? So let me share the chart here. AstroGold is such a great software. I love it. So this is the chart for the new moon, and it's at 6 degrees of Virgo. And where did my spotlight go? Maybe I'll do a diamond. I've never tried the diamond. I wonder what that'd be like. Ooh, yeah, I like the diamond. It fits it all in there. There's Virgo. Let me explain what each of these little things are. This is a very Virgoan thing, showing you the planets and the chart and the aspects. It likes to think, you know. This is a very thinking earth sign. Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, but it's an air sign. Virgo is mutable earth. It's changeable. It can shift a lot easier than, say, Taurus or Capricorn. So we don't only have the new moon there. We also have Venus, Mars, Juno, and Mercury. So Mercury moved into Virgo today. The moon is about to move into Virgo. So it really is a Virgo party starting now. In fact, when does the moon move in so that we can see when that energy will be? It moves in. Ooh. There it is. 7 p.m. tonight. Hello, Virgo. Hello, Virgo party. So what does all this say that we have this buildup of energy here in Virgo? Well, to me, it's not just a buildup of energy in Virgo. We're talking a buildup of earth signs, and I'm going to also draw this grand trine here. So what we call a grand trine in astrology is supportive. Triangles are the most supportive. Squares are not supportive. Squares can shift. So that's why squares cause tension, creative tension in a chart and also in reality. I mean, triangles are the best thing to build around. They do not shift. So in astrology, it's the same way. It's supportive. And this right here, I guess I should have changed the color, but whatever, we're going to roll with it, is a triangle in the chart. And when planets have geometry like this that relates to one another, we look at that and we say, oh, well, that is very supportive. There's three things going on, all in the element of earth. Trines are always in elements. And then you have different modes. So we have cardinal earth as Capricorn. I think of that as a mountain, as getting physical stuff done in a very leading, creative way. And then we have Taurus, which is fixed earth. So the ground you're walking on, the home, your values. That's why Taurus rules values, because it's physical manifestations of what make you comfortable, you know, the place where you are steady and stable. And then we have Virgo, mutable earth. And I think of that as dust, as the leaves on the air, you know. In fact, it is the season that the leaves start changing, is Virgo season. So I was looking outside and I was like, that is literally changeable earth. Mutable earth is when the earth starts changing at the seasons, especially the season of summer into fall. You really can see it. And I just love that. I love thinking of life in these terms because, you know, I can go on a diatribe about astrology a little bit. It's made fun of. I mean, there are lots of people who call it woo-woo and all this stuff, but to me, it is a way to organize my reality that I can understand and that validates me. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, we can get into belief systems and things like that, but I'm talking about general everyday, just like it helps me to look at a calendar. Astrology helps me organize my thoughts that might go rampant otherwise. I have very circular thoughts. I have Mars in Virgo, so I have Chiron in Gemini. So sometimes I can get very too much thinking and I'm too scattered. And so when I can organize my life in this way, it really helps me be successful. So sometimes when I'm doing sessions, I feel a little bit like a life coach because you can just talk about different areas of your life. So I said all that to say that's why I like organizing my reality this way. I can think about changeable earth and I can think about fixed earth in my life and relate it to things and understand it better. And I think that's actually the nature of Virgo. What we're talking about here is thinking about your physical reality and about what you can do to make it better. Virgo is pruning. I've made this distinction a few times. And it's discerning. It decides what needs to stay and what needs to go. Capricorn wants to build. Taurus wants to be steady and stay. But Virgo's like, okay, what do we need to shift here? So a new moon in Virgo is a new chance to plant seeds in this area, to develop this area of our life. So this is a time to think about what needs to stay, what needs to go, what do I need to plan, what do I need to do. Virgo season is the time of the change into fall, which means you have to make sure you have enough food for the winter. That's the nature of Virgo. And so not only the new moon is this potent time of starting a new cycle, but it's also colored by Venus and Mars, the conjunction that just happened there. Our ego and our values, to make it very simple and quick, met up and kind of made a new pact. And Venus is like, I'm carrying this on. Let's go. What values do we have now? What new passions have been ignited in us? What needs to stay? What needs to go? Mercury's there. It's thinking. You're communicating about this. So this can all lead up to an energy of it could be critical. You could have people being critical right now. You could see what, like maybe things aren't going wrong necessarily, but whenever you are more discerning, you see things have a higher standard, so it's like, this is going wrong. Maybe in Leo season, you were enjoying the color of the paint on the walls, but right now, for some reason, it's just all wrong. That can be a bit of the energy going on right now. But there's also these other earth signs playing into this. And here we have the next thing I'm going to talk about. while I'm figuring out how to do this. Boop, boop, be-doop. I can change the color. Yay, let's choose blue for Taurus because Uranus is there too and it's blue right there. Crappy little circle. It's a little oval, that's okay. So Uranus and Taurus is also coloring this right here. We got this. They're connected. So you can see the degree of Uranus and Taurus is 6 degrees, and then the degree of the new moon is 6 degrees. It's exactly trine. It's exactly connected, very geometrically perfect. So what is Uranus and Taurus doing right now? Uranus is the revolutionary, the game changer, the innovator. That's the job it has as a planet. So when it goes into a sign, the sign colors that. It gives it a way of expressing it. And in Taurus, that's fixed earth, you know? So does the innovator really like to be fixed? No. And does the fixed earth like to be changed? Not very much. So this can be uncomfortable, really. Uranus is saying, hey, we're going to flip the script and you're going to value something completely differently than you have before. Or you're going to learn new values. It's better to surf this wave, in my opinion, than to resist it. Because when you resist the changes Uranus is trying to bring about in your life, to me, that's when Uranus takes on the chaos sort of archetype. Because it will like, okay, well then the reality has to change whether you want it to or not. So the fact that it's exactly trine to the new moon is really, I mean, this could be shocking. This could be like you're starting a new cycle that is completely different than you've ever dealt with. And of course, this depends on what areas Earth occupies in your chart. And you can look up your chart on astro.com, plug in your birth information. It only takes a little Googling to figure out the chart. It really does. And you can figure out where Earth is and what those areas mean. But just looking at the signs and the planets, Uranus and Taurus is all about kind of innovating our values. It's more future-oriented. It's like, look ahead. Look ahead at your finances. Look ahead at, do you even value money anymore? You know, this is the Bitcoin stuff. I like that. I like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is perfect to describe Uranus and Taurus, in my opinion. So that's an energy that's working with this new moon. It's very changeable, very almost unsure too. You know, we don't know how the winter is going to be yet. You know, we don't know kind of right now what we need to value. What, you know, like, where do I need to place these things? Well, that's what this new moon is for. And that brings me to Saturn in Capricorn. Oh, I get to have a different color. I'm learning to play with this. Let's do purple. Oh, look, Capricorn's purple too. Okay. Oh, I can stamp with a heart, so. Oh, there it is. Oh, that didn't do purple though. Erase. I'm being very Virgo. Not on purpose. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to circle this other thing going on so that I could show you so you can see I'm not just making this up. I think it helps. There we go. That completes our triangle. What is Saturn doing in Capricorn? It's also joined by the South Node and Pluto. I'm going to go very slowly here, so sorry, this is probably going to be a lengthy video, but that's the nature of Earth. Steady wins the race, slow and steady. Saturn in Capricorn is at home. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn is boundaries. And oh, what else does it do? I mean, boundaries is probably the top key word I would give to Saturn. It rules time. And cardinal Earth is the mountain. It is, what do I need to build? What are my walls like? What is the structure like? What do I want to do for my life? It also rules career. And Pluto rules transformation. And in nature, I would say it's similar to Uranus in that it changes things up, it transforms, but not in the chaotic way Uranus does. Pluto is more root chakra level, deep karma kind of transformation. Like, this is what your soul is intended to transform to. So when that comes together with Saturn, you can imagine boundaries and structures are changing all around us. The rules we have for our life, maybe our career, maybe the government, because Saturn also rules the government and law, and also finances. This is more like banks, though, like economies. That's Saturn in Capricorn, and Pluto coming around to be like, they're coming together to start this new cycle and change it all up, really. Rebirth. What does this mean to us? Well, I will say this is not an exact trine right now. In fact, this is the closest Saturn will get to trining Uranus and Taurus right now, I think. I'm pretty sure. I looked forward. I didn't look back to see if it had gotten anywhere close, but I believe this is the closest it gets to trining. So that's an orb of 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 8 degrees. I'm terrible with math. Anyway, so I'm going to call it a trine. There may be other astrologers who give it a smaller orb and maybe wouldn't call it a trine, but this is too close for me to not call it a trine. And same thing with the Virgo Saturn aspect of it. It's not an exact trine, but it is within a close enough orb for me to be like, look, this is reality lighting up for a reason, So the Saturn-Pluto thing has been active for all year, and it's exact in January, and I talk about it probably at every single video I do because it is the overarching theme right now. I mean, there are other overarching themes, but this is a physical one. This is one you can kind of quantify. In fact, Saturn in Capricorn likes to quantify, I would think. Count, keeps time, It determines physical, it's like the cell wall. That is Saturn in Capricorn. It determines what comes in and what goes out. And I think Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, that may be right. But I think he says something akin to the cell wall being where consciousness resides, So, quit texting me right now. When all these three things line up, you can really be doing work. That's what all this means. It means work. Work on your actual reality. And oh man, this is like the tough stuff, really. But this is where Virgo comes back in for me, because you're doing all this work to change your boundaries, and maybe your house is being rebuilt, or maybe your career is completely changed. Maybe you are having a hard time making money. Maybe you are having a hard time knowing what to do with your money or where to put it, or maybe you're having a hard time with the state that the earth is in. Literally, we're talking about the earth element. We're seeing fires, and we're seeing hurricanes and earthquakes and weather and famine and wars, and it's a very physical reality sort of thing going on, being highlighted at this very moment. And Virgo comes in and goes, how can we help? That's a Virgo. I mean, that's a Virgo energy. How can we help? Virgo rules service. And so this is a time to really, really even look at your own life and go, how can I help my own life? This is not a time to feel guilty. That is the shadow manifestation of Virgo. This is not a time to take on the world, and if you don't do it perfectly, to feel terrible about it. This is a time to keep moving forward, channel that changeable earth, really write it out, decide what you want to do. If you're going to take advantage of the January 2020 conjunction of Saturn and Pluto and really step out in your power, which is another thing that you can do now, really start to create a new existence for humanity. If you plan to do that, you need to plan to do that. And so it's the time to plan. It is the time to realize what your wishes are. Venus, 11 degrees of Virgo is like, oh, man, we've needed to clean up in here. I love sweeping. Mars, too. I mean, it can get overly critical and maybe a little too detail-oriented, so that's something you might need to keep in mind. But, hey, if you feel like doing the work, do it. Now, I'm going to bring in one other thing, or maybe two other things, really. We're going to talk about Neptune and Pisces and Jupiter and Sagittarius. I get to draw again, and I'm gonna, let's do a fat line. No, that won't be straight. Arrow. Bloop. Doop. Doop. Squares and oppositions. These are the creative tension things I was talking about. I mean, that's not opposite, but it's certainly close. So we've got Neptune and Pisces. What is that? That's opposite of Virgo. Neptune's been going through Pisces for quite a while, and I don't even know. I can't remember, but it's been years, I think. I think it's very long orbit, long transit. I know because I have my moon at 19 degrees Pisces, and so, whoa, do I understand this. Neptune dissolves, and it creates disillusion sometimes, but it also rules dreams, the dream world, the collective consciousness. And so it can rule escapism and kind of like, whoa, man, we're out here in space. And as you can imagine, that is the complete opposite of what Virgo is doing. Virgo is like, oh, well, we're here on Earth and we have work to do. So you can get some flip-flopping here, right? And then you bring in the other element going on, Jupiter and Sagittarius, which is square to both of these things. It's optimistic. It knows its direction. It knows what it believes, or it thinks it does. So these things are causing tension. Like, I'm seeing all of this stuff out of order in my life. I really want to escape it, but I also have this belief driving me forward, this optimism for the future, this, this learning. It's a learning time. It's a choose your own adventure. It's the hero's journey. It's the path. That's what Sagittarius is doing. And that's probably shifting according to your dreams and according to this pruning that you're doing. So that energy is also there. I mean, it's bringing in your whole belief structure, and faith. Do I have faith in this? Do I believe this? Luckily, Jupiter's direct, and I think it's like, hey, we can open our minds. We can have, the square is like, Neptune's making you have these new ideas about your philosophy. It's seeing something happen in reality that's challenging what you've always believed. And then Virgo needs to make those adjustments. So that is the energy of the new moon. I would recommend for sure, writing down some plans you have for the future, especially for the next 6 months. That's a good time frame for new moon to full moon, when the full moon is in Virgo in 6 months. So, and it's a good chunk of time to look at. You can look at the next 2 years. Just try to be in the, Virgo is also very be here now. It's changeable Earth. Be here now. And I think Ram Dass talked about, oh man, and I'm definitely probably not saying exactly what he said and be here now, but he said something akin to, whatever you're doing in life, try to enjoy. If you're eating caviar, you're still on this earth eating caviar. And if you're shoveling shit, you're still on this earth shoveling shit, and it's just something you got to do. It's kind of like, just buck up and do the work right now. And if you really want to build a successful, strong physical reality in your future, with your job, with your finances, with your boundaries, with what you value, then you will really put in the physical work right now. I laughed a little bit when I started this video because, this is a creative venture for me, but it's also quickly becoming work. And I've come to the conclusion lately that anything you do for money will be work, and there will be a moment when you don't look forward to it. That's all that, that people say, do what you love and never work a day in your life. That is absolute bull hockey. Do what you love and start making money from it, and it will quickly become work. And everyone, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're doing it for money, it will be work for you. And it's great if you can do something for work that you're passionate about, but let's not have any Neptune illusions that we can have this, it won't ever be work if we are just doing what we love. Trust me, if the grass looks greener because something looks more fun to do in life, that's fine. Go try it. And it probably will be more fun, but it will never stop being work if you're doing it for money. So this is also am I just, uncomfortable with where I am? Is there a hobby I can do that will make my life more exciting? I think that these are good ways. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're in a dead-end job and it's not serving your soul's evolutionary purpose, do whatever you want to do. Change your life. This is the time to do it. This is the time to change your career. But also don't get into any Neptune illusions that it's going to be a dream world. And we live on this earth. Living is a trial for our soul's evolution. I can't claim to know what happens when we die. I can't claim to know, I don't even say I don't believe in God. I don't try to believe in anything. That is really where I'm coming from lately. I try to perceive and to read and get information and have faith. But as far as belief goes, I don't know. Any human can't know. You can have faith and trust and think. But, belief is something that I have shifted a lot lately. And so, I really do believe that we can evolve ourselves, though. And whether you're talking about DNA in your children, you could even speak about it in those terms. If you are actively trying to improve your life, do what you love, take care of this earth, be kind to other humans, and hitting all the nails on the head, you're only going to set up a good future for this planet and the rest of humanity. And if you want to get into metaphysics and say that our soul goes somewhere and it evolves into enlightenment, these are the things we're talking about here. So the Virgo New Moon really sets the stage for what can we do better in our life? How can we build a future that will support our dreams, our values, our wishes, our hopes, and others? Because it's the service-oriented thing. We're coming into the age of Aquarius. Pluto's on its way to Aquarius. Are we serving humanity? Are we serving our DNA? You can have, I think the DNA has ancestral memory. That's a science article that I think I read the other day. So anyway, is there anything else I want to say? I could say more. I'm going to try to do more videos, maybe more than the new and full moons. Just as I get into this more, and thanks for going on this journey with me. It's really fun. It's really creative. I still play music. I'm playing a show tonight in Birmingham, Alabama at Mojo Pub. And I still have my creative outlet there. This is just a new way for me to, value this reality and what I'm doing and help others, hopefully. I'm having lots of fun connecting with people and brainstorming about where people can go in their life. It's been really, really awesome. So I'm grateful for it. Thanks for tuning in if you did. And I will see you on the flip side. Set those new moon intentions.